Hello and welcome to an all new episode of Men and Women Talk, the Mars Venus Show. I am one of your hosts, Kente, all the way live from Los Angeles, California. And this is episode number 132. And I'm joined by my wonderful, beautiful, talented, extra cheesy co-host, the one and only Shannon. How you doing, Shannon?
Hi, how are you? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Guess what, you guys? I went to church Sunday.
Oh,
I had a
okay.
great time at church too.
Ooh, showing out.
And I low key got the Holy Ghost.
Okay, low key, Holy Ghost.
So I had
God
a
bless.
great time. I had a great time. It was Friends and Family Day at church. I was there. I
You were
was
the
sitting in, huh?
you were the friend.
No, it's my church. I
That's what
I
I love.
greeted family members that came through and friends. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm not the friend. That was my church that I grew up in. I'm very proud of my church that I grew up in. So I was there holding it down. Did I meet a young lady? No, I did not. I met a bunch of old ladies. I got hit on by a bunch of old ladies.
Mm.
So that was cool. Like, I
Now,
mean, huh?
I said, hey, now, better get you an old.
Man, them 90-year-olds be coming. Them 90-year-old women be coming for me. I'm just saying. So,
Get you some AARP loving.
hey, man, don't knock it. Don't knock it, y'all.
I'm
Don't.
not at all, not one bit.
They need love, and I need love too.
Not it at
Catch that retirement fund, hilarious. But I was fly. I was dressed up all fly too.
all.
Uh,
Right.
but of course, I was at church. So, but no, that was my weekend. And so I'm glad to be here with you. Um,
Likewise.
it's next week, you guys, is going to be the Men and Women Talking Mars Venus Show week. And we have a lot of great shows planned for you. The only day we won't be on is on Wednesday of next week. We'll be doing 4 shows next Monday on Labor Day. So hopefully you guys can come out. We're gonna be doing a show on Labor Day. We're gonna be laboring on Labor Day. We're gonna do a show on simping, and I actually need some guests for that. I want some guests on that show. We're gonna talk about simping. On dang, I should have the. Why don't I have this like where I could get to it? But we're gonna we're also gonna be talking. Where's Shannon at? Because I know I sent it to you. There we go. Oh yeah, we're gonna do Brooklyn is gonna be on Tuesday show. That's the No Prospects for Punani show. We're gonna talk about incels. On Thursday, Askia is gonna be our guest on that show. We're gonna moral dilemmas, and I'm gonna get a lady to join us as well. We're gonna be going over moral dilemmas, and then I know Dante's gonna be excited. Oh, he stepped out. Next Friday, we're gonna have Stephanie on. She's gonna be talking about her new YouTube channel, as well as giving us beauty tips and tricks. So that is next week. So all fun stuff. And yeah. So Steph, she'll be on to give us. She's gonna help not only the ladies out, she's gonna help the fellas out too on how we can get our game tight.
Very nice.
So I'm looking forward to that as well. With that said, let's get into the topic tonight. We're going to be talking about long distance relationships. And anybody in the chat room, if you've ever been in a long distance relationship, put 1 in the chat, put 2 if you have not. And first of all, let's start off by talking about long distance relationship. What is a like if she lived or if he lived 30 minutes from you, that's not really a long distance relationship, right?
I
They're
don't
gonna
think
be does it need to be a state away?
a city, a
A
state,
city? So like if you live in Key West and he lives in
Fort Lauderdale.
Tallahassee, Fort Lauderdale, is that long distance?
That's like 4 hours away. Heck yeah.
That's long distance. So how many hours a car drive away would y'all say long distance is? Like if it's what, 4 hours? Three
It's
hours?
long even if you have a car. I hate driving to Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Mm. So if you were dating a guy in Miami, that would be long distance to you?
It's 160 some odd miles just to get to him. Yeah, that's long distance to me.
Okay, all right. So there's long. Maybe we should do it like this. You know how there's BBW and there's SBBW. Maybe
Okay.
it should be like long distance and SS long distance, supersized long distance. I dated someone that was 35 hours away, and it
That's
was
3.5, first off.
if it is if you don't have a car.
I'm not 35. We're going to get it together.
uh, Tried dating someone in Florida, and that was impossible. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, sometimes dating women in Florida is impossible,
What
unless
the fuck are y'all saying, though?
I live in Hawaii. Everyone is long distance. Hilarious. Um, okay, you know what I've noticed? This is just on my observation. Back in the day, if you had a long distance relationship, everybody looked at you crazy. They said it wasn't a real relationship. What are you doing? Yada yada yada. It was like, especially the old folks, right? They was definitely gonna say, "Oh, that's not, you're not in no relationship." That, that's the old people how they sound. And but I notice now it's much more. It's like kind of like the online dating thing. Now it's so common that no one bats an eye. There's a lot of relationships where person's in LA, the other person's in New York, or sometimes overseas too. I've seen that as well.
I'm here for
Right. And I noticed that it's not as taboo as it once was.
that.
And one thing I've noticed in long distance relationships or even a conversation about it is most people they don't like the people where they at.
That part.
That's you, right? Like, how many people you even meet that actually like the people, the dating? They always, it seems like everybody says there ain't nobody to date where they at, no matter where they live. You know, I often wonder, like in your case, I get it. I'll give you a pass. I get it. Where you live at, I understand.
Thank you.
But sometimes I wonder though, is that really the situation or is it them? You know what I mean? Mine too. I get a pass. I give you a pass, D. It's them, huh? Between cell phones with anytime minutes, FaceTime, WhatsApp, social media, it's more prevalent than ever in history. That's right.
I'm here for it. You got to put in the work to get that work.
Yeah.
Fine,
So
yeah.
we're going to be talking about all aspects of long distance relationships, right? And I think the first thing I want to talk about is like I want to start off with this notion of the people in my area suck. Now, in your case, the people in your area probably do suck, right?
I wouldn't say they suck.
They're not
There's
compatible. They're not.
no
Mm-hmm.
one that has approached me. And I'm about to just be hunting down the bear.
Down the bear. Okay. All right. Is this the first time you lived in a place where you felt like that?
No. Yes. Yes. No. Trying to think of the places I've lived. Yeah, this is the first time. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting. There are some people who are not, they may be from wherever, right? They may be from Baltimore, they may be from New York, they may be from Los Angeles, but they just are not the place. They're not the place that they're from or where they're at. Like,
Right.
it's hard to explain. Like, you ever meet somebody and then you don't feel like you should get out because you don't feel like this town, or you don't feel, you know what I mean? And I think that could be the case with some situations where I'm just not like the people in this town. I don't feel a kinship, and therefore the dating market is not going to be good for me because
My life.
right. So that's one issue right there. Um you're from Nebraska, Omaha to be exact. Did you feel like that in Omaha?
No, but I know too many people.
Mm.
And there's like literally 1 degree of separation between the people that you may find attractive and who they've dated. And usually who they dated is someone you know or someone you're friends with or someone you're related to. And it's like, no, thank you.
Oh, okay. All right, all right. Omaha is that in Wisconsin? Brooklyn said he can't hear us. He probably needs a refresh.
Yeah, I would say refresh because I can hear Kente. Kente, you can hear me, yes.
A lot of people that happens to. We might have to talk to them because it happens too much. Like in the last show, I just did a show before this one, and a couple people said that. So I wonder if it's a glitch.
And then I refreshed. I couldn't hear y'all at first, and then I refreshed.
Okay, so it's a glitch in the matrix. Okay, so that aspect, I don't know. Put one in the chat room if you feel like you lived in places where you felt like the people there just wasn't your speed. Like you felt like I can't date nobody from where you at. If that fits you, hit one in the chat room.
And keep cracking jokes about my city, and you're gonna get these beats, sir.
One, okay, and put two if it ain't true.
Hey,
Free is in the house. Okay, so the first aspect we talked about is the question. Oh, the question is, we're talking about long distance relationship, and we're talking about how some people feel like the people in whatever city that they're in, that they just don't vibe with them. And the question, like Shannon feels like this ain't the town for her to date. So the question is, if you ever lived in a town where you felt like the people here ain't really, you can't really rock with them. There's nobody to date for you. Put one in the chat. Put two if you've never felt that. If you've never felt that. Okay, so oh shit. Yeah, he said that same thing too. Yeah, and I hear that a lot. That's something very common. Okay, so the Staten Island is too small. If you date someone, the chances are you've dated one of their relatives. Where the cool kids hang out. That is right, Luke. All right, so the next aspect of long distance dating is long distance relationships. I'm sorry, is do you ever seek out, like, do you seek out long distance relationships, or do they just kind of happen for you when you've been in?
Living in my current city, I've been more intentional about looking or seeking after people who are interested or I'm interested in from different cities and states. But for the most part, I haven't had a problem. I've dated long distance quite often over the years.
Okay. I don't know, like
helps with my mileage and points when I'm catching them flights to heighten those feelings.
Yeah, you know what though? Like, as far as long distance for you, like you will hop on a plane in a second. So you will cut that distance right in half. So yeah, so that is something else, right?
Like I go somewhere at least once a month. So
yeah, yeah, you quite the traveler. Okay, so like if you meet somebody online, right? And unless you're fishing in your backyard, you open the search to the whole, globe or even the whole country. You're probably going to come through with matches outside of your city or your state, right?
Oh.
So there is a safety of the person not being in your city, because once you actually are face to face, then it changes the whole dynamic, right? And one thing, what do you say?
There's only a few places where I will find somebody from my same city, and they're usually not what I'm looking for.
So what ends up happening is I see this a lot where one person is like, let's meet, let's hook up, let's, get this puppy going. And then you get that other person who's kind of like, well, let's hold on.
Yeah.
Like, because they kind of like the long distance because maybe they hiding something, the whole catfishing thing. Maybe they done lied about who they is. And now they gotta, like I'm really people like they space. Yeah, that's true. And they like the idea of I got a woman out in Florida or I got a woman out in New York or whatever, but not actually hooking up with them.
Right.
And my question to you is like, is there a way to kind of to get like, okay, this person really ain't trying to move forward? Like, have you ever been in a situation where you felt like a long distance relationship where it's like I'm wanting to move forward and they really wasn't on that kick?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not even just long distance or relationship in general, but specifically for this conversation.
Yeah. So like what was there a certain thing that happened where you finally was like, this fool ain't trying to hook up? They trying to.
I tend to lose interest when you are not more assertive than myself. I don't do passive men.
I've been in a long distance relationship and we lived in the same. Hilarious. That's funny. I feel you, and I've been there too. I've been there too. So when you say passive, like
not actively seeking, not actively pursuing, like passive.
So was there like did you give ultimatums?
No, we too old for that. I'm just like snip, 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 snip. Where them scissors at?
Well, there's look, there's ultimatums. Like people give ultimatums all the time.
I always talk with that. Because I figure in this day and age, in this stage of the game, you usually come into it with not necessarily misplaced expectations or even expectations. You come into it with an understanding of, or at least I would anyway. And so we're going to have a conversation. What is it that you're seeking from this? You just want somebody to kick it with. You just want somebody to warm your bed at night. You want a real relationship. You want a date with purpose or court or whatever the conversation may be. And if that is not what you're doing, because you only get a few moments of time, whether that's weeks or months, not years, ain't nowhere time for that. Before I'm like, okay, snip, snip, you're out of there.
I wonder how Dante and Steph do it. Hilarious.
Well, Steph is not going to speak for herself, so
that's funny.
We'll say that for Friday. Next week.
This is gonna sound like a funny question, but if he or she is in prison, is that a long distance relationship?
No, sir. First of all, why are we dating people in prison? What kind of relation?
People do that, man. I'm not saying it's a good idea.
I will not do that.
Here's a byproduct of long distance relationship. Why not? Wait, why not? What is long distance? I went to jail and had a girl before I went in. See?
Kudos to you, my guy, and blessings for longevity of life and relationship. I'm still not doing it.
See? Yeah. Okay, so here's a byproduct of a long distance relationship, right? Is he was in Augusta. Okay. Here's a byproduct. So let's say Julie is dating a guy, but she lives in LA and he lives in Delaware. Right? This brother lives in Delaware. Right? So they can only see each other every once in a while, like maybe every month or two, once a month or something like that. Or maybe not even that frequent. Yeah. So what happens sometimes is she really loves this dude, right? She likes this dude that don't live in her town. So what happened is she'll find a local guy that kind of will fill in the gaps for when he's not here. And when the old boy blows into town, Or I mean, and it could be the other way too. I'm just using it in this way. It could be a dude doing it as well. So when he's not in town, you got local guy that takes her to go see the Notebook, whatever new restaurant that's opening up, blah 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 blah. Right? But the minute old boy from Delaware come into town, it's like, all right, I'm totally with Delaware boy. You know what I'm
So is
saying?
he a friend or is he a filler? Because LA to Delaware is like 41 hours, roughly, depending on what city he's from in Delaware, close to 2,800 miles. So is he just a friend or is he a filler?
The local guy?
Yeah.
The local guy, see, this is the crazy thing. The local guy could be a filler.
Hey, Lindsay.
The local guy could be a filler, or the local guy could be I mean a friend, but also sometimes he keeps her bed warm.
Yeah.
The Delaware guy,
Oh, not doing that.
you know, and the local guy is a seat filler. That's right. That's right. Has anybody ever played the seat filler role though? He also the whole if he's lucky though, because some guys don't even get that in that role.
That part.
That's not a relationship. That's a bad sitcom.
Thank you,
The
Jen.
seat filler,
Thank
yeah.
you. Look, you can't look through my peephole.
Have you ever felt like a seat filler?
Who, me?
Yeah. Or have you ever had a seat filler?
No and no to both.
No one know. Sounds like a pressure piece song. It's called.
Have you ever been a seat filler?
Huh?
Have you ever been a seat filler?
I have.
You enjoy that role?
I didn't know it was a seat filler. I found out later I was a seat filler.
Dang.
So yeah. So
How did you feel when you found out?
I was not happy about it. Not at all. Yeah, I've been the seat filler.
But have you had someone be a seat filler in your life?
No, never.
Oh, okay. Oh, faithful.
Never at all.
Okay.
But so that you got to be careful. I've had a couple of seat fillers too. Hilarious. My thing is like this: as long as there's communication, it's fine, right?
Yeah, that's a conversation for any relationship. If you agree to different hoes and different area codes, that's your business. But everybody ain't with it. Everybody ain't with that.
So I don't know. Like like I said, I've been the seat filler before, and no, I didn't realize it until it was way too late. So, but it is what it is. So let's talk about maintaining a long distance relationship, right?
Okay.
So, okay, you've met somebody, Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
This brother lives in New York, for example.
Okay.
Okay, you really dig each other, but you got to work. Even though you'll hop on a plane, whatnot, I gotta pay my.
You drink, man, your frugal self. Hush now, child.
Hilarious. So hilarious. So, you guys really love and care for each other, right?
Okay.
And you guys can only see each other once a month, or or every other month, or whatever, right? So, what are some ways that you can maintain the relationship while it's the distance? What are some ways that in your estimation, like?
I mean, FaceTime is a long distance relationships like saver. And I guess it depends on who you're in a relationship with. Some people want to write letters and send cards. Some people want to see you on video chat, or send voice notes via WhatsApp. It depends.
10 stripograms.
I mean, there's a lot you can do in this new modern technology, bro.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. All right. Now, one of the issues that in a lot of long distance relationship is when you don't contact them on the, so like, okay, all we got is the phone and
Know how I feel about communication.
So it's like, how many days go by where you start? 2 days?
2. What's my rule? We'd already talked about this. If I don't hear from you past 72 hours, to me, you've been in a psych ward. We need not talk no more.
What if he was in the hospital?
All right. Blessings to you, bro.
Oh wow. Do y'all agree with her 2 day?
Agree with me. That's just my life.
Is that without reaching out to him?
No, that's with me reaching out to you. Like, I always make the effort. Now that you will never say I don't do.
Right.
My effort is on top. Always.
Okay. So, all right. Okay. Okay, that's good to know. All right. So 2 days. We'll stay there. I'm used to. And if anybody wants to hop in, please do.
Yeah. I do like space, but if you can't communicate that you like that, then no, I'm good. I'm good.
You know, some people do this thing where they don't want to be bothered with anybody for a minute, you know?
Yeah, I know those types, and I try to stay away from them too.
All right. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
Yeah, and to this comment that Free just posted, I often fail on purpose. I'm so glad you joined the room. In the same token that you fail on purpose, you also have fallen on purpose. So
say what? What'd you say?
I said, and just in the same breath that you fail on purpose, you have also fallen on purpose.
Hey man, I fell on accident.
No, that was on purpose. You knew what you was doing?
I tripped. I didn't know what was happening.
And you stayed on the ground, bruh.
Nah, because it was supposed to be a hot boy summer. But
you did not have one.
At all whatsoever.
And thank you.
So whose responsibility is it to, like, if the 2 days go by, is it his responsibility to reach out, or is it yours, or what?
Again, I think that there is a shared responsibility, and like I said, I do my part. At some point when I feel like you are not making the same effort, and not necessarily matching my effort, but just any effort that is indicative of me noticing how you feel and how you are responding to me as an attraction, then I gotta cut my losses. Like, I'm good on that. Like, I'm somebody's answer to prayer, and if I'm not yours, that's okay.
You one of those, once you cut them off, they cut off?
Yeah, unless you got that good butter, that good bread. We might have a conversation later on.
All right, Ryan. So what's up? What you been in long distance relationships?
Yeah, in the past.
All right. What was the hardest thing about maintaining them for you, besides obviously the distance?
I don't know, interest. I think after a while, conversations get stale, and there's not much to talk about. It's like, what did you do today? Oh, nothing. Yeah, did the same thing over and over again. Yeah, okay, bye, love you. You know, I think at the same time, like, you know, I've been in conversations like in my local region with women even now that I haven't really stimulated conversations. So I guess it depends, but I guess my experience in the past has always been that, you know, it's like the utility is high, but after a while you talk about the same things over and over again, and then it kind of gets stale, right? Because I don't know how many times you talk about the civil rights movement until
what is happening? Y'all talking about the civil rights movement in your relationship?
Yeah, we are. Like, you know, we talking, and I'm talking about this, I'm talking about that, and then after a while, you start listening. I think in all relationships, you just start hearing the same repetitive conversations. and it gets stale because you can't see the person. I need to touch the person.
Come on, G.
I need to touch the person. I need someone to be, to remind me
They said
that,
you,
that I'm
you
in
need
a
to date-
relationship with them.
They said you need to date more intellectual women.
No, that's not. You can date intellectual people, but how long? You need stimulation. You need sex too. I think sex does blend. It brings people together biologically. I'm being real. That's my perspective.
I think.
You need to touch the person. I think there is a biological thing that happens when you see the person, you hug them, because
I just myself.
What'd you say?
She said she
said something under her breath.
I just need to touch myself.
phone sex is not the same. Phone sex is not the same. There
Ain't
is
nothing about
a
the phone
difference when you with your partner and you touch them. There's there's different changes in the body that happen. I think that people just need to be with each other, not on the phone. It gets stale.
Listen.
Now, what about you, Craig? Besides obviously the distance, what was the biggest hurdles you had in your long distance relationship?
Well, the one time it was a hurdle because I was in jail.
So right.
That was a hurdle. Aside from that, I didn't really know. I didn't really have we didn't have set times of when we would see each other, whether it was once a month or however frequent or infrequent. There wasn't really a set time because this is definitely my younger days when money was not as plentiful, so it's like I don't really have the bread to just hop on the Greyhound or maybe not the time to take away from work or whatever the case may be. And at the time, Skype was heavy, so it wasn't a FaceTime. It was Skyping and doing all that type of stuff or whatever. So I mean, it was cool, but then I think at a certain point, without intention and a unified deadline, or this is what we're doing, an outline of eventually we'll be together in the same space in the same city. And I think without that was what the hurdle was. I didn't have that. So it just kind of fizzled out on its own because there was nothing we were necessarily working towards. It was, if we were in the same city, then all of these magical things could happen, but we're not. And I don't know when, and you don't know when. And, I'm not going yet because I'm doing these things here. You're doing those things there. And there was no real together or, team effort to unify. So that was I'd say the biggest hurdle. Outside of that, man, if it was a thing where we finally came back together, or say long distance, it was long distance when I went to Iraq.
Right.
The girlfriend before I left. And that was a hurdle because there weren't really many phone calls or, things like that. We could write letters, but you know how long a letter takes to get to you in the war, my nigga? So, or to write one out, or who has time to sit down write a letter when the bombs are bursting in there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, they can burst in there when you get home too. But
I had to make it home. It was not gonna be bombs bursting. It's gonna be legs. But you know what I mean? I had to get home, and honestly, that right there, I honestly tried to break up with my girlfriend before I went to Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
And she went there. And people thought I was foolish for it, but I was like, I'm going to a war zone. I don't have time to be thinking about what you could possibly be doing. I don't have any control over whatever it is you do. And you can tell me anything, and I didn't want to deal with that. So I think halfway through my tour, I ended up breaking with her via 2-page letter. She didn't get the Aaliyah. So she got a 2-page letter.
You shortchanged her, dog.
I think she got a 2-page letter. And when I got back, she wrote me a 10-page letter that I never read. Yeah. So,
wow.
It's so funny how that works as writers. Everyone will read everything we write, but sometimes we get stuff and
well, see, it was. Wait a minute. What? Oh, I just saw the comments. Never mind. Shannon.
You are late
But yeah,
to
man, I
that
just didn't have
party.
the energy, man. And she was playing games before I even left. You know what I mean? So I knew that was, and then she was also trying to use God in the mix and all this other type of stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, this ain't the move. You ain't the one. You know what I mean? It was just a lot going on. Oh, God just told me to do this, that. So, hey, man, I support you and whatever you heard God tell you to do, but He didn't tell me that. So,
Right.
Right.
That is where it's important.
I'm gonna have
Say
to do
God
something
told
different.
you to tell me. Say that again.
Now, obviously, jealousy is in any relationship or has the potential, but in
Right.
long distance relationships, you know, it has a particular ring to it. And like, I'll give you an example. A buddy of mine, he was dating a girl out of state, and he was bugging out because right before he hung up with her, he heard a dude's voice. He swore he heard a guy's voice in the background, and it was like late at night. So he was like, he was trying to call her back, and she didn't answer the phone.
That's the television.
So
Watching Unsolved Mysteries, sir.
So he was like, and I just happened to be there, and he was like, I heard a dude's voice in the back, and she lived by herself, and and I said, well, it might have, I'm like, it might have been television, and he's like, nah, it didn't sound like the television. I think it was another, another dude in the back, and now she not answering my calls,
right?
And yada yada. So he didn't talk to her until like midday the next day. Right. So he's telling me, he's going off like, who was the dude in the background? Like, and she was like, there was no guy in the background. What are you talking about? There was nothing. And he's like, I know I heard something, And so he's like stressing out about it and all this. And I'm like, dude, girl lives 3,000 miles away. You can't be sitting up here worrying about what she may or may not be doing.
Right.
It's just not, you're going to go crazy,
And I think it's important to point out what Jen said about, so in all seriousness, this all breaks down to commitment and trust. If something is worth waiting for, dedicate to it. If it's not, it'll never work.
Right.
And maturity.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be mature to a certain level, have a certain level of maturity to actually,
that part.
Like I said, to even have the wherewithal. I didn't have the wherewithal in my 20s at 21, 22. I didn't. Not to say that people don't, but to have a specific plan or a deadline or a timeline of events of this is what I'm going to do. This is what we're going to do. X. These are our benchmarks and how we know we're getting closer. So that it keeps it fresh and exciting, but it also has something for us to work towards. And I don't think that, hell, we have problems with people right here in our face.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? It's like a long distance one. And honestly, sometimes a long distance relationship can curb that anxiety because you may wonder, but if you realize there's nothing that you can do about it with 3,000 miles in between you, you have no choice but to believe what it is that they're saying. And you can't just pull up at their house. You can't just, look at the phone and say, oh, who is this texting you or whatever the case is. I can only solely focus on our interaction or our communication. And so I think I've seen some people rely on that type of, on a long distance relationship because it allows them to kind of develop out of some toxic or negative behaviors and develop some different ones. Now, again, you really just have, it's like following Jesus, boy. It's blind faith.
Right.
You better go preach today, brother.
Sometimes you got to be open and honest too, and maybe entertain the idea of an open relationship because, not everyone could do that. But I think that I would probably, if I was in the army or something like that, I'd be like, yeah, I'm okay with that because I wouldn't get jealous because I can't control that. If I even think about it, I would get pissed off. I would get angry if I was trying to figure out whether or not she's cheating on me. I would rather give her the option if that's what she needs for me to handle my stuff. Because like I have long distance relationship and I live here with local women because I'm an entrepreneur. the fact is that I'm always in my house. I'm always working. I'm working on this project or that project. I don't really have much time. So sometimes if I'm still getting to know the person, sometimes you just gotta, you kind of have to let that bump, because friendships will always last. No matter, if you have a real friendship, it will always last.
No, friendships sometimes are a season, not a lifetime.
Yes, they are. I do want to add the little tidbit. Yeah, if you're in the Army, you're getting cheated on. Especially if you're young in the Army, you're cheating and getting cheated. Both is happening. Wise, that's just what is it? What's the saying? What's understood doesn't need to be said, or something like that.
Right.
You go in with the idea like, yeah, I'm probably getting. Oh, you got to go what? You got to go TDY. Okay, you got to. There's a field wife or a field husband out there somewhere, and then when you come back to the States, then you get back with your, your boo and everything like that, and everything. Whatever happens overseas, it's like Vegas. What happens overseas stays overseas type feel. So, yeah, definitely Army's definitely a bad example. Because I've seen it, but I've seen it in basic training. A dude, his girlfriend, what they called it, a Jody letter. So one of the guys, it's so sad. One of the guys was there. He had a live-in girlfriend, and probably about a month in, we were finally getting letters and things like that. The letters, of course, to boost morale and like just keep you going for the rest of this rigorous training. Well, in this letter, there are pictures. And it's a Dear John letter. That's what it is. He got a Dear John letter, and basically Jody got his girl. So the next door neighbor, they took pictures in his house, and the next door neighbor is wearing his football jersey. And she said in basic training. And I'm just, this right here is, y'all ain't even married. Something. Like it was
yeah, man.
It was crazy.
That is horrible.
Dre, you can date a service woman if she a little bit older. I mean, probably around your age. You know what I mean? Yeah, you good. A young one, nah.
Now there's another aspect to long distance relationships. Some may not say it's a fair one to bring into the mix, but there was a famous song back in the day called "I've Got Hoes."
In different area.
And there are these guys out there, and these women out there, because women do it too, that have strategically placed vagina or penis all over the globe. So in some cases, all over the states.
Listen.
I've known women who they got penis in everywhere. Like you'll be like, she'll be out here, right? She'll be like, oh yeah, in Kentucky. Oh, I know, I got a couple of guys in Kentucky.
Hey, I used to be that. I used to be like that.
Got their own little underground railroad.
What you say, Shannon?
So it's always nice to have people in cities and states that you go to.
It is. I used to be like that, but I don't go nowhere and do nothing now. So
I'm just saying.
So
I'm for it.
That's, I don't know if you count those as relationships. I mean, sometimes people believe that they are. Yeah, they are. Oh, I guess, so I mean, if you found out you was just a stop on their world tour.
Like I said, I've been there before, man. I've been there before. I smashed a chick who was married to a dude that was in the Army, and I didn't know she was married until afterwards. Now, I felt robbed because she could have let me be an asshole on my own volition. But,
Right.
You know what I mean? She stole that from me. Like, if she had told me, I might have still smashed. I might have at that time. I'm like 19. I might have still did it. But I'm like, at least you could have gave me the option to try to save my dignity or salvation or whatever. But, here I am all up in this man's house. There's another weird story, but I'll save that for after the show. But in that situation, it was like, yo, I didn't. I mean, I ended up being a stop, and actually, me and my cousin were the stops, because it was. I'll just say I had first dibs. I put it out the way.
Oh wow.
Summer ain't over.
I found I was like, oh yeah, she married. Like, what you mean she married? Married to who? Oh yeah, her husband out there in DC. He had to go whatever training in this. I'm like, yo. Oh. Well, I mean, that's a long time ago. She's a pastor now, so.
She's a pastor now. Wow. Find out it's Juanita Bynum.
Take the wheel.
Wait a minute. Is it Juanita Bynum?
Oh, that's a little too old.
A little too old. Okay.
She's not a gilf.
Oh, not a gilf. Okay. All right. Dang. I mean, there's people, man. They love to have their strategic vagina or penis or whatever they rocking with all over. It's funny though. I know some people they'll have them all over, but locally.
Yeah.
But they ain't got nobody locally, but they got people in everywhere. They got in weird places like Idaho. Like, how you meet a brother in Idaho?
Shout outs to Idaho. I know some people in Idaho.
Yeah, it'd be like you found the one brother in Idaho. That's pretty cool.
Hey, man.
But it's strategic, right? Because they know nobody's gonna be looking for anyone in Ohio, right? Like,
right. Oh, hey Sybil, how you doing? So yeah, but no, it's something else. Now,
time out. Keep digging in Nebraska, Dre. We're gonna have some problems.
Or Nebraska, hilarious. Okay, so going back to about long distance relationships, there's got to be a certain point, right, where it needs to turn into something, right? But it can't be long distance forever. Yeah, you can't have a long distance marriage, right? Shannon,
What?
you can't have a long distance marriage, right? She said, "Hell yes."
It depends. It does depend. What's at stake here?
No. I would think at some point you gotta turn it. What they say, shit or get off the pot.
I mean, what if the person's in the military and they keep getting called out for tour?
Okay, if he's in the military, I mean, I would imagine he's gonna come home at some point, right?
LA, he may come home to leave again.
How many like if you're stationed in Afghanistan, free, like they let you come home? What? How often?
It depends. You might not get to come home. I got to come
home.
home.
I said my uncle did it for years. He was on 3 back-to-back tours.
I got to come home once. And it's not honestly, the way they did it is they pulled a lottery. So you didn't really, because of course everybody would try to go home at a specific time around certain holidays or whatever the case.
Yeah.
So you'll get a lottery as far as to when you get to go home. So you might go overseas. I mean, you might get deployed, and 2 months in, you come back home for 2 weeks. But then you got the other 10 months or 9.5 months left that you won't get to see your family. As opposed to, I actually went. I was home for July 4th, so I came like the end of June, and the week of July 4th, and then I was back. I was flying back the next week. But I mean, I got to come halfway through my my tour, but everybody isn't like that. And some people get to go home. Excuse me.
What if you get married and they have to work outside the country for a year, and so we're assuming that you're not going with them? That not, you know what? Because a local relationship can turn into a long distance relationship. I've had that situation happen before, where all of a sudden they had to be away for a long stretch of time, and there's issues with that as well. I don't know, like
I love it too.
Yo, but I've not taken job opportunities for the sake of relationship, and I kind of wish I would have. Not even kind of. I wish I would have taken certain jobs because I had an opportunity to go overseas after I came home. I had an opportunity to go as a civilian contractor, and I'd have been going for like the better part of like 9-10 months or whatever, almost a year. Say what?
I would have been like, bye.
Yo, and I would have came back with like $100,000 tax free. But the person that I was dating at the time just couldn't see themselves apart from me. Oh, it's just gonna end us and this. I'm like, yo, when I'm gonna go make this bread, what's a year? Like, I was looking at it kind of logically, but then I ended up not going. And I kind of upset with myself because I didn't go.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I feel like when you make decisions based on relationships, make sure that thing is solid.
You gotta make sure you have a goal, an end goal, right? Because some people want to live in Jamaica and have a retirement home. I can see myself in a long distance relationship if I know I'm in some sort of game plan, because when I go out overseas to make that money, I'll bring it back and take care of the house and whatnot. And I think that's the reason why a lot of women will stay too, because they're taking care of kids. They don't got to work. They can take care of the home. Nobody's telling them what to spend their money on.
You ain't gotta work. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
You get free money and then life insurance if the person lives in or is working in the army, or working for police, or or for some national security job. They get life insurance. I think people are more likely to save if there's security involved. I mean,
cheers to security. Amen.
Security, for real.
I'm here for that.
So I don't know. Like, I do feel like there should be that, working towards something, and then at some point y'all gotta have the conversation: is, are we moving to where you at, or are you coming here? Is that like, because
it has to be mutually beneficial. Like, if only one person is getting something out of this experience and this relationship, it's not really a relationship. It's more like a fan club.
What if you live in a much better place, like you live in like Los Angeles, right, or New York or whatever, and they live in Butthole, Indiana, or whatever crappy town they live in. Shouldn't that trump? If y'all trying to decide where y'all actually gonna stay, shouldn't that trump? Come on now.
And where we living at again?
Butthole, Indiana.
And the other place was
like Los Angeles or New York, or a fly place.
It depends.
They live in Canada. They want to move to Canada.
It depends on who's making the most money. Because that person in Butthole, Indiana, could be making 3 times more than the person in LA, and then what?
But I have a theory on that. Like, I'd rather be poor in LA than rich in Butthole, Indiana.
Oh, you do.
But I feel like everything comes down to preference and values, because if
your business,
if you don't value,
well, I ain't poor in LA.
Space and privacy and not being, jumping up on each other, then okay, yeah, LA sounds like a great place to go. But if you value, a little bit of land and some, actually getting what you pay for and things of that nature, then it's like, okay, yeah, I'll take this bread that I was making out here. And it also, the compromise is going to have to be there, because, job opportunities may not be plentiful in one place or the other based on whatever career field that you choose, or that you're particularly in. But outside of that, it's like, why? Then you may not have to give up either place. We can spend some time over here in your spot, and we can spend some time over here, part of in my spot. You know what I mean? Or we just pick a random city anywhere else, and we'll start all over and get something new. So it's options there. I don't necessarily, because
that's my best friend.
I think better is relative. What you consider to be better may not be what I or she consider to be particularly better. So, that's just all a part of the conversation.
Well, if I think it's better, it's probably better.
Well, it's probably why you're still single.
That is 100% true. That is 100% true.
I think they need to live in each place first. Maybe try it out for a couple weeks, see how you like it, and to get a vibe from it. Because, like, what if you break up? Hey, you moved to LA. You don't know anyone in LA. Like, I don't want to be stuck in LA.
Yeah,
If I
moving to
that. I'm with that. Try it out.
moving to California because they don't like my guns. So
We love guns here.
no,
No,
you don't.
you know.
No, you don't.
I like guns.
They got a 10-round magazine capacity. They also have a background check to buy ammunition.
Oh wow. Well, I mean, I could pass the background check.
Why do I need to pass the background check to buy ammunition? Like, that is ridiculous.
Because you might throw bullets. You
What
might
would I do
throw
with a bullet
bullets
without a
off the turnpike. You might be over the street intersection.
I'm better off throwing knives.
I feel you. It's not it isn't the most lenient about guns, but you know.
You have to have in a rifle, and it can only be a 10-round mag capacity. The mag capacity is not really what bothers me. It's the fixed magazine. You have to have a tool in order to. And I'm like, I think then I guess maybe the average consumer because of the industry that I work in. So I'm like, yeah, that is counterproductive, wholeheartedly. But anyway,
I was watching John Wick 3 again yesterday, and I was thinking about you, Free.
Oh yeah.
when he was shooting the people with the armor.
Yeah,
I was like, I could see Free over there.
Hey, he had to go back and get that shotgun, that Benelli with the Magnum slugs in it.
Yeah, that was a great thing. That was a great scene. I love that. That was a good movie. Good movie.
So really quick, can we give a shout out to the people in the room?
Yes, let's do that.
Thank you, Ryan and Free, for taking a chair. We got Jen and Andre and Dante and Lindsay and Dee and Brooklyn in the house. LA's in the building. We got Evangelos and Savannah. I think I've met you, Savannah. Welcome.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. And just to let people know, next week is a straight. We're going to do 4 episodes of Men and Women Talk, the Mars Venus show. It's called Mars Venus Week. We're going to be on Monday, Tuesday, not on Wednesday, unfortunately, but Thursday and Friday. So I went over what the show's going to be. Monday, we're going to be talking about simping. And so if anybody wants to join us on that one, please come through. Tuesday, Brooklyn's going to be one of our guests. And the name of that episode is called No Prospects for Punani. We're going to talk about incels. Those are the involuntary celibate cats. And then on Thursday, we're going to be doing moral dilemmas. Askia is going to be on there, but we'd like a lady to join as well. So we're going to be reaching out, talking about moral dilemmas. And on Friday, Stephanie is going to come through, and she's going to be talking about her new YouTube channel, and she's going to be giving us tips and tricks on beauty and hygiene and all of that stuff. So definitely check out next Tuesday. Thought it was tomorrow. No, it's not this week. It's the following week. It's following week. So those are next week's episodes. And tomorrow, and this week is Spotlight Week. We're doing a week long of Spotlight, and tomorrow, right here, we're gonna be talking about the top 10 movies that make you cry. So tearjerkers. All right. Tearjerkers. Sad movies. Sad movies. Movies that make you well up. So, all right. I'm early for something that's refreshing. Let's go. All right. So does anybody have advice to anybody who may be embarking on a long distance relationship? Let's say someone who's never been in one before, and maybe, they come to you, like, we'll start off with you, Ryan, like, man, I know you've done this before, man. You got any tips for me?
If you're going to be in a long distance relationship, you got to set expectations. You got to set your boundaries. But I think when you're the farther away, I think the more lenient you should be with expectations, because it's easy, in my humble opinion, it's easier to break up on a long distance relationship than it is to actually see the person, hold their hand, to hug them. Because like I said, I think physical touch does something to someone. Sex does something to a relationship, strengthens the bond. So you just have to be a little bit more lenient. If they don't text you in a certain, like let it pass, because they'll usually come back to you. They'll talk to you and whatnot if the bond is secure. So I say, set your expectations, but don't set too many rules, because I think the more rules, the more rigidness, the more problems.
Okay. What about you, Free? If anybody needed your advice on either being in a long distance relationship or strategically placing women all over the map, if you have any advice for either one.
Place them on the map.
Remember, you writing that book on
right? Don't put me on the street. I will.
He ain't doing it no more.
I will answer the former. I will pass on the latter. Until the after show, then I'll tell you about that one. But no, now I guess if I was gonna have some advice about it, I mean, it's the same advice I pretty much give anybody with almost anything, man. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, and know when to run. You know what I mean? I mean, I feel like it fits everything. You know what I mean? Regardless of whatever it is you're doing, it fits every single thing in life. So, I mean, I think patience is definitely a virtue, but having a clear-cut plan on what it is that you all want. You know what I mean? Like I said, having those benchmarks and, just kind of keeping up with that, checking in, accountability type things like that. And also, I think at certain points you have come to the table, hey, we've been doing this for X amount of time. Is this still something that you want to do? I feel like take assumptions off the table too and ask as many questions as you need to. Because as you progress, somebody may begin to fall by the wayside. It's like, I'm getting a little weary on this journey and I don't know if I can, do much more time in this, or because sometimes it can feel like a prison sentence. Like, yo, I ain't seen this person in this long and I don't get to. I mean, I get mail and all that. You can send me nudie pictures and Polaroids or whatever, but it's like, sheesh, where's the visitation? You know what I mean? At some point, a conjugal visit might be necessary. You know what I mean? If you don't have that, I don't know what the word I want to use right now, but you don't have the strength and ability to hold yourself down. Some people, some people out here like playing the bass and playing the Spanish guitar. You know what I mean? And that whole, I'll keep them. Some people out here shaking the yeah, I think just those things, man. Just keep an open mind. I think the patience, what Ryan was saying, as far as that NENC having a little slack in certain areas or whatever, as far as maybe not having so many rigid expectations.
Okay, all right. And a little advice for the ladies, Shannon?
So thine own self be true.
All right. And so you only 2 days though, Shannon?
What
if you fell down the elevator shaft?
No, she said 72 hours. That's 3 days.
I said after 72 hours, I'm starting to question whether you was in an involuntary hold at the psych ward. Like, I just gotta ask some questions.
Okay.
Now,
No, keep the lines of communication open. Set some boundaries for what you want to do and some expectations. Just make sure they aren't misplaced.
All right. I love it. Ryan, how can we get you in social media and all that good stuff?
You can follow me at Hustle Zone or at Hustle Zone TV.
And let's give a shout out to Ryan, man. He's been hustling with that Hustle Zone, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what you like? How many you got now?
I think I'm close. I'm 6,500 on one account and I'm 4,500 on the other account. And we're growing every day. I just got 100 followers last night on my one account. And what we're doing is we're just promoting positive, wholehearted content for the Black community, especially at the Hustle Zone TV account. We take Black businesses, people that are doing good in their community, We put them, we tell their story, and every post that I do goes viral. So, people get, people's businesses get exposure and whatnot. Like today, this kid got 6,600 likes for his vegan restaurant that he started up. And he was a little kid that started a Caribbean vegan restaurant.
Caribbean
So-
vegan. That sounds
real
delicious.
true.
Yeah.
Let me check.
We're just promoting Black businesses and encouraging people to support their local, national, international Black business, and let's change the narrative, because we all are trying. We give Jay-Z a lot of slack for what he's doing, when we shouldn't. We should just be the change that we want others to be.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can all encourage each other to start our businesses and to help our communities, I think the world will be a better place. So I'm just using my platform to promote Black businesses.
So
The movie Belly. That's funny. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's funny. All right, so Free, how can we get you in social media and all that good stuff?
On social media, everything right now is well, not everything, one of the things. So Free for Real, FREEPHAREAL. That's primarily Instagram, also on Twitter, and I've started a new Instagram account for my firearms instructor situation I got going on. So it's Forward Assist Consulting Society, all spelled correctly, but all one word, no spaces in between. So that's Forward Assist Consulting Society. It's the long version of FACTS. So yeah, you can find me in either one of those places, man. And I got some other stuff coming on. Man, I got a music video dropping like Wednesday.
I'm so you either got a gun in your hand or a microphone, huh?
Hey man, or a camera. You know what I mean?
Oh,
right. You know what I mean? I'm a shooter regardless. So
you shooting one way or the other, right?
Hey man, you know it. So yeah, check out. I mean, it's on iTunes, on really all streaming platforms. Black Text BLC TXT featuring.
Now, when is it drop again? When is it drop again? When does it drop again?
The music video drops on Wednesday. The song dropped like about a week or 2 weeks ago. So.
Okay, and we can buy it on iTunes.
Yeah, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Tidal, like all streaming platforms. It's on there, so you can find it.
Can you put it in the chat? I'm gonna get it tonight.
Okay, facts.
That's dope. All right, I'm real happy about that. Why am I getting a call from out of the country on my cell phone?
Long distance relationship.
Right. Shannon, how can we get you in social media? Tell us about your program.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Shannon Ford, like the president, Jefferson, like the president. .com. And on Sunday nights, I do have a show this Sunday. We'll be doing episodes 6 and 7 of the 7-part series, Relationship You Should Write, on Set Apart Woman, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Get Vocal.
All right. And
how we can follow you?
You can get me on Twitter at Kente F, and you can get me on Instagram at Kente Ferguson. That's FERGERSON. And the website is indyradio.org. That's INDYradio.org. Remember, this is Spotlight Week, so tomorrow we'll be on at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, right here on Get Vocal. And next week is Mars Venus Week, and our next episode we're gonna be talking about simping. So you guys have a great rest of your week. God bless you, and good night.
Night.